On. This is by far the most underrated cardio for weight loss. And every single time that I talk about this, I get hundreds of people telling me that I'm wrong, I'm not doing it right, there's better ways of doing things, or this cardio is just not effective. Meanwhile, I've not only lost, but I've kept off 135 pounds, and my clients are seeing amazing results by implying or implementing the same cardio that I'm about to tell you. Before I get into this, if you're watching me right now, just let me know where you watch me from and make sure you like the video because it helps me out tremendously. Let's use an example. Let's say Susan, right? Let's say Susan is overweight and she wants to lose some weight, right? Maybe 20, 30, 40, or 50 pounds. It makes no difference. And she has the idea in her head that in order to lose weight, you have to sweat profusely. You have to hate every single second of it as far as your physical activity. And then you have to run, jog. Maybe you have to do stairs or do high intensity kind of interval training or high intensity cardio in order to lose weight. So she starts to run from point zero to whatever. She starts to run. She goes outside, she goes on a treadmill, and she starts to run, and she hates every single second of it. What happens then? Maybe she lasts a couple of days. She runs for 10 minutes, maybe for 30 minutes, and she hates every second of it. She becomes super sore. No, knock on wood, maybe she injures herself, but she doesn't look forward to it, not even for a single split second. Let's say she tries to jog. Yeah, it's not as annoying or not as painful. It's not as frustrating, but she jogs for maybe a week or so, and then she kind of flops and she gets off track. Maybe she tries high intensity cardio and she has a trainer yelling at her in one ear, telling her to do one more or to do a bunch of jumping jacks or whatever kind of high intensity interval training that she is doing for that day. She feels defeated because she walks out of there limping like she just went through an entire war and she barely survived it, but she doesn't look forward to it and she's super sore the next day, right? Maybe she does a Stairmaster because she sees a lot of these women do Stairmaster in order to lose weight because they're always on it doing their kickbacks, which make no absolute sense, but they're always doing a Stairmaster. But she tries it and she falls off track and she doesn't go back because she hates every second of it. But this is one of the most important things about cardio is it's not about how many calories can you burn in the shortest amount of time possible. That's just it's an idea, but it's not something that is able to keep somebody to be consistent with. It's not about how many calories do you burn in the shortest amount of time. It's about how do you keep doing this for a very sustainable amount of time, very, very consistently, without hating every second of it, without injuring yourself, and by just being good enough with this. Which is why the cardio that I personally use to lose over 130 pounds is just simply walking. And every time that I mention this anywhere, people tell me that you should jog, you should run. Oh, you could have lost weight faster if you didn't walk. What they don't realize is that the sustainability and the consistency of walking is just immensely important because what's the failure rate or the fall off rate of people that tend to jog, run, do high intensity cardio, maybe do whatever other kind of cardio they want to do, is they tend to fall off track and just not resume very, very quickly. And the failure rate is very, very high because they try to have that instant gratification feeling be presented in this instance by losing as much weight as possible in the shortest amount of time as possible. Whereas if they were to just walk from the beginning, they would still be doing this. Yeah, walking in the same amount of time burns less calories, but what's better? I'm gonna give you an example. What's better to burn, let's say, 400 calories in a single, let's say, 45-minute session and fall off track or just quit after about a week? Or is it to burn, let's say, 200 calories, if that, and just to be still doing this for a year afterwards? Because the same person that falls off track by doing as much as possible right now, right away, very, very quickly, they tend to fall off track and just repeat the same yo-yo cycle for years and years and years. Whereas the person that tends to be more consistent by doing less, by doing things that seem like they're too slow, that person not only can reach their goals much quicker, but they're still doing these things because they've created very sustainable habits for themselves. So I want to ask you right now is if you're trying to lose weight, you should ask yourself, do I want to lose as much weight as possible, as quickly as possible, and have a very high probability of falling off track? Or should I take a step back and realize that the sustainability is in the consistency that I'm doing this? There's nothing wrong with walking for 30 minutes every day. Maybe 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes in the evening, an hour, 6,000, 8,000 steps. that doesn't matter. What matters is doing it consistently every single day. And I can't tell you how many people I speak to personally, that I personally coach or just speak to, that tell me that they've fallen off track so many times because they try to do as much as possible as quickly as possible, because for some reason people think that they have to sweat or hate every single second of doing cardio or workouts because that's when they're going to feel like they're successful. That's absolutely not true. You don't have to sweat profusely or sweat, period, when you're doing cardio. If it's cold outside and you're going for a walk, that is still effective. You don't need to sweat. You don't need to feel like every single session that you do just beats you up, because what people don't tend to realize is, what's the failure rate? Because if you're always feeling beat up, you don't look forward to it. You feel like this is just not, enjoyable to you. This is not sustainable to you. You will fall off track likely. Hopefully not, but you probably will. Whereas if you were to actually look forward to this, know that it doesn't have to be so immensely difficult, because the most important part is the sustainability and you being just consistently good enough. If you're walking, that's great. Find some time to walk, maybe on a lunch break, maybe take, park further away from your job site. Maybe walk an extra train stop or so, or bus stop away, instead of riding on the bus or the train. Find a few ways to fit in some more steps throughout the day, and that will be immensely important, and they will actually boost your metabolism and make you understand that it doesn't have to be so difficult. And the power is in doing less, but doing less more consistently and sustainably. And if you got any value from this video, if you're going to apply walking to your day, just drop a fire emoji down below. Let me know how much you currently walk, if you do, during every single day, and I'll see you next time.